What the angels have asked me to do tonight is to actually create a group reading for the people that are here tonight. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that for the week. And then if you have questions or something that you would like to ask, know about, comment on, share with everybody else, I love that and would appreciate that. That helps everybody. If you've been having experiences of your own, there's been a lot going on astrologically. And because of that, people have been going through a lot of themes and a lot of revisiting of different aspects as the energy continues to shift and, move in a different direction. And so, of course, we all have things that we're going through in life that we can share and that we can all learn from and benefit from. So tonight I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use a card deck because I think people really relate to being able to see cards. I don't use cards when I do angel readings individually for people. I don't pull cards and read off of cards. I just literally tap into your angels and your energy field and I just read it. And so the way that I usually work when I read with somebody is I get a lot of information, and I actually have had this ability. It's probably one of the first psychic. I didn't know what it was when I was a kid, but I could look at somebody and I could just download information about them. And that's kind of what I do when I do an angel reading. But intentions with angel readings individually are that the angels have specific things that they're trying to help you with where you are right now on this life path. So they will often talk about that. So I will scan your body for health stuff. I will scan your energy field for anything going on in energetic imbalances in your energy systems. I will see if there are any deceased loved ones there or spirits, crossed over animals sometimes come in. And then I get into your guides and your angels, and it would depend on if I had worked with you in the past. A lot of times if I've done an angel reading for somebody, their core angels and guides are going to be their core angels and guides. We do sometimes get new guides that come in, and sometimes guides shift in and out depending on what you are moving through at that time. When we say prayers for people or for ourselves, the way that those prayers are answered is actually by sending more angels to us. And those angels typically are white. They're a white light. They're like a guardian, teaching, protecting angel that would come to us. We will have archangels that will be coming in. They will come in and they will give messages to us. So the archangels are always working with us as well. But for everybody, you have your angel team. So it depends on where you're at in your spirituality and your development. You could have somebody walking around in the world who is the most non-spiritual person, meaning that they don't identify spiritually with anything. Maybe they don't even believe in angels or believe in spirit guides. Maybe they're atheists. Maybe they don't believe in anything, but they still will have a spirit guide and they still will have a guardian angel, at least one. They don't always show up at my doorstep or people who do the work that I do because they don't have a real calling to do it. Generally, the people that show up and are trying to dive deeper into their spirituality, their angel team, their soul gifts, their soul theme, their other lives, all these different things. There's a reason that they're gravitating to that. There's something within their soul agreements or their soul contracts or their soul origin that calls them to seek that out. But the important thing that I want everybody to know is everybody has a guardian angel and everybody has a spirit guide. And one really effective way, if you're dealing with difficult people or a difficult relationship, could be any form. It could be a partner, it could be at work, it could be a neighbor, a friend, child, parent, whatever it might be. You can actually talk to their angels. You can also talk to their higher self and their super consciousness or their oversoul, but you can use your own angels to talk to. So me and my angels would like to talk with your angels and higher self. You can write them a note, you can meditate on it, you can just have a conversation. And by doing that, oftentimes you can appeal to an energy influence that may help that person. Now, everybody has free will. So sometimes people don't want to be in a receptive mode, but everybody is in a receptive mode at some point, right? So when we're in receptive modes are when we are happy, when we are doing things that we love to do. And for most people, yes, there are very few exceptions. There are some exceptions. If somebody is really deeply depressed, if you know, there's a lot of things that maybe could be part of it. But for most humans on this planet, there are small shifts of moments where a favorite song comes on, or they're watching a TV show and they get really lit up. And everybody's lighting up looks different. High spectrum emotions can be peace, love, excitement, happiness, you know, those big ones we think of, but they can also be small shifts. Like if you're really, really depressed, if you have this little perk, even if it's like dark comedy and it kind of gets you like a chuckle out of you, that's a shift up from where you the apathy, right, of depression. So the thing I want everybody to remember is everybody moves in and out of receptive modes. And so what happens when we are talking to other people's angels and guides, or we're praying, or we're asking even for divine intervention and help ourselves, when we are most likely to receive that energy is when we actually have that moment of receptivity where our energy kind of sparks up and we're a little more open than we would normally be. And so then the information can come in because our higher self is always trying to get a hold of us and trying to give us information. And our angels live on a separate plane. They have a separate frequency and a separate energy. And so while they can't override our free will, they're constantly streaming to us, hoping that we get in that receptive mode enough to pay attention. And a lot of those receptive modes come from things like, oh my gosh, did you see that hawk? Or look, there's an eagle. Or, oh, that deer just crossed my path. And maybe we don't even like that the deer crossed our path, right? Maybe we're driving down the road, it's dark, it's late at night, boom, a deer crosses, and you know, we get jolted by it. But those moments that kind of take us out of our energy field, our stagnant, stuck energy we're just replaying, are actually sometimes how then we think about something different, or we hear different, or we listen different, or you know, the influence of the energy comes in our field a little bit more and stuff can start to get cleared out. A lot of times people don't realize that you can actually talk to other people's higher self, oversoul, guardian angels, people who are wanting to have a baby, wanting to find their soulmate partner, wanting to find new clients or customers. You can actually sit in a process and talk to that other soul or those souls and communicate that information. One of the things that I've done for decades is that I will literally just say to the universe sometimes, anybody that needs my help today that I can be of service to in whatever way, I'm open to receive them. A lot of times the way that they show up is not even related to my business. It's related to, you know, I really love helping people. Most of us do. Sometimes it's like a really odd way that they will show up in my life that day or multiple times a day. But what it does is it makes me feel good that I helped serve somebody, that I made somebody feel a little bit better. That's most of the time why we really do anything that we do. We like the way that we feel. Our guides will often talk about, spiritual teachers will talk about when we fall in love and we feel so amazing. So remember when you first fell in love with, you know, your pet, your baby, your partner, yourself, somewhere you live, something you were doing, you just felt that in love passion and it's just like, oh, it feels so good. The benefit is really because you're giving that feeling of love. It's not because you're receiving love from somebody else. So a lot of times people are fell in love, they think, oh, like that felt so good because this person's loving me. No, it's because you're feeling love and that's reflected back to you in that conduit of energy that's coming through, which is kind of cool if you think about that. So it is possible to be in the world and to just shed love into your life every single day and not ever have that directly returned to you. That's never going to happen because people will start doing it because it's a momentum, it's an energy frequency. But theoretically, you could just be in that state all of the time and you could just be in a total state of love and nobody ever give it back to you because it's a mirror, right? It's a mirror to you. And that's what relationships are. Relationships are mirroring the things within us that we need to be exposed to or aware of. Okay, Jen asks, what is the process to speak to significant other spirit guides? You certainly can do it in meditation. One way that's really effective is actually writing a letter. So you could sit down and say, dear significant other. So you could say, I'm just going to make up a name, dear Zach, spirit guides, higher self, and just put whatever you need to put on there. Sometimes that first draft of it is anytime we're writing out. So here's the thing. I really recommend to people in general in my big coaching program I do where I take one-on-one clients for a whole year and we do energy sessions and coaching. One of the things that we do in group every single month is learn different processes that a lot of them are writing processes because there's so much research on it and there is so much spiritual confirmation when you listen to teachers and your angels and your guides that will say, because our reality is projected, time-space reality is an illusion, even though to a degree we're experiencing this together. When we just keep it inside of us, it stays as almost like this theoretical internal rumination of energy. But when we express it out on a piece of paper, there's a neural connection that goes to the brain, to the hand, that kind of allows that energy to process and get out of us. So that can really be helpful. But then it also projects our consciousness onto something for reflection. And if you've ever been a journaler or you wrote a paper in school or college and you go back and you read it, you think, what the heck was I, it's like it's not even like you that wrote it because once we put it to paper, we process it. So the first draft, maybe you're sharing frustrations, maybe you're saying, I'd like this to be different, I like whatever, da, da, da. But you can continue to write those letters, and it actually works well for forgiveness as well. And you can do whatever you want with them. You can tear them up, you can burn them, you can freeze them, you can flush them down the toilet, you can just throw them in the trash, whatever works for you to get rid of it. The point is to get the energy within you out and to ask for that help and guidance and then see what happens. So it works well for forgiveness too. And generally when we have people in our personal space, there's some forgiveness. Whenever we're asking for some help or support, there's some forgiveness on our part or some judgment on our part that we also need to be aware of because whatever energy we see people through is the energy that we give to them, and it's also a reflection of where we're at in that relationship. So I'm going to say this, if somebody in your life, for instance, has an addiction, has a life problem, like they're just stuck, they're stagnant, they're not doing well, they're mentally challenged, something's going on with them and they're just not doing well, and your prayer to them and to their higher self and asking for divine intervention into that is truly a prayer of, I see this person struggling and I would love them to be able to do well. Please help them with X, Y, and Z, and help me know and be guided to do X, Y, and Z. That's one way that we could do that. And then the other way is if we are struggling in our relationship with them, what I would encourage people to do is to write a letter. Just be honest, like face it, right? That's our theme today. This is going on. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I need. This is whatever it is that you're writing that out. I would encourage you once you do that, then also reflect on that and maybe write a letter to your own angelic team and say, this is how I'm feeling, and this is what I need help with, and I'm open to any support or guidance that you're able to give me. And the trick to all of these things is to do this without insistence or expectation that something is going to happen. Because when we look for something to happen and it's not happening fast enough, we get really frustrated. And in that frustration, we actually slow it down or we stall it. As soon as we ask, the answer is given. But then we have to be in a receptive mode, and the person has to be in a receptive mode to get that energy shift and change. And if we're constantly looking for it not happening, it hasn't happened, it didn't happen, then that's the energy vibration we're matching. So it is a test of faith. Let me give you an example. This actually just happened to me today. I had a client, I was working on their home. They've got a house built in another state, process going on. They were running out of money. They can't sell their house. The mom reached out and said, my friends just reminded me of when you worked on their house and you helped it sell very quickly. Can you work on my daughter's house? And I said, of course. I did it remotely. I just did the work and I worked on the house. And everything about it was actually connected to the partner and the partner's feelings and emotions about leaving. That was like the majority of the clearing. And I cleared, everything that I could with it energetically, but that was what showed up. And then I said, I'll check back in with it. I checked back in within a few days. There was still more stuff. And then I finally said to the mom, I think I need to talk to the daughter on the phone. This is like a week and a half, week later, because nothing's happening with the house because there's some other stuff that needs to happen. So I get on a session with the daughter, I do the work, and it's like we're done. There's nothing else. The house is going to sell. It's going to sell mid-September. You just got to have faith and trust in the process and divine patience. And she kept saying, we're running out of money. We're running out of money. We got to sell this house, the school starting, the kids, all these things that we do as humans, right? And there's no judgment on it. We all do that. We all have this timeline in our head about how things have to happen. We don't always remember that everybody else has their own timelines going on, and we need things to come together like this. And those are the cooperative components that we as humans can't see, but our higher selves are up there seeing it. If you have a family, four of you in the family, and you guys are moving towards something, all four of you, your higher selves are like, yep, we got to do this, we got to do that, this, that. But your human selves are like, we don't know how it's happening. We don't know how it's happening. It doesn't seem like it can happen. The higher self knows everything. It has all the workarounds. And that's why having faith and trusting the process is important. So last weekend, there were more showings to this house. And again, my clients texted me and were like, nothing's happening. We're so frustrated. And I just said, I didn't even give it energy. I was like, it's going to sell. It's going to close in mid-September. You just have to have faith in the process. It's going to be fine. And today they texted me, we just got an offer. The house is sold, closes September 17th. Who knows what happened? Maybe that family that needed that house, they hadn't got to the right place at the right time yet. There's just so many factors we don't know. And that's why there is this divine timing trust that has to happen. That happens even in relationships because sometimes difficult relationships or financial situations or things that seem like they're not working out, sometimes it's because the other people aren't ready for whatever needs to happen and you're learning something there together. I promise you that if you weren't supposed to be somewhere spiritually, you wouldn't be there. Because when you're really ready vibrationally to be in a different space, you literally cannot be anywhere else but where you are. My entire life, I've said to people, sometimes the universe just has to give me a kick in the ass because I will get very stuck in the way I want things to be. And that served me really well when I was a young person and I had my beliefs and convictions. It's how I made it out of the life that I was in. I'm learning as I get older that I can just ease off and be patient and just trust the process. But that's a learning process. Some of us do better at than others. But if we don't, right? I knew somebody once who said he was just kind of lost in life. He had a really dysfunctional, bad childhood. He was like all these things, all these stories. And he went to school and he was studying something and he wasn't happy. He couldn't do it. He had to take math classes. He couldn't figure it out. And he got in a car accident and got thrown out of his car and cut his head open, had a super bad concussion, had to have his whole head sewn up, have surgery, all these different things. When he came out of that, he was like super, super good at math. And he went on to become an engineer. And actually develop a very well-known navigation app. He just did these really genius things because it was like sometimes for that energy frequency to shift, we have to have something happen because what ends up happening is on a physics term, we actually shift through parallel realities very, very quickly. That's why it's so jolting to us. So it's like that, boom, but it's taking us from one vibration to the next. And so I can promise you that wherever you're at right now in your life is exactly where you're supposed to be, because if your frequency was different, you would not be where you are. Then the question comes in is, am I happy with where I'm at? And if I'm not happy with where I'm at, hold on to this. The angels tell us this every single day. I hear this with my clients. If we're not happy where we're at, we have to learn to get happy where we're at, because the frequency of happiness has to be achieved before other happy things will come to us. If you're in a situation that you need to shift, you're not going to get into a better situation by pushing away from where you're at. You're actually going to get to that higher vibration by being more at peace and grateful and happy and just have positive feelings where you're at, and find the little things that you can find. Those things are what then give enough vibrational shift in the emotion, which is what frequency is and what frequency magnetizes is our emotional state, that it allows us to start to create a vibrational frequency and a vibrational connection, a likeness with that new frequency that we desire to bring in. When we write and we get stuff out, it allows us to kind of dump it and process it, and then we can feel better and see it differently. But we're also then appealing to other people's angels and higher self for support and help as well. And now we're working collectively with a team instead of just feeling like we're working on our own. The positive thing, coming back, everything's full circle, is that as I have started to share just the last week, really, when I had this kind of like aha moment, I actually have had family members, more extended family members, reach out to me and say, I recognize that I have these gifts, that my kids have these gifts, that we have these gifts, and I want to understand them more. I would love your help and your connection with it. It's amazing because I grew up in a very close in my family, and we've kind of drifted away as the years went on. But the thing that for me, for so many years, I held back that space of vulnerability of like, I'm just going to tell my story because I was afraid of how my family would react to it. Actually, was just my made up illusion, my story about how I think they're going to react to it, when in reality, it gives validation to the other people in my family that maybe didn't have the courage at a younger age to separate and do what I did, that now are saying, hey, I can relate to that. I understand that. And I want to know more. And so that's why holding back our soul gifts doesn't really work. And the universe is going to keep pushing us down paths until we get that, which is the amazing part. It just leads us back to everything that happens is exactly where we are anyway. They're going to get the message through one way or the other to you and to other people. And you just have to be willing, when you go through those processes, to be open to, what is this teaching me? What are they trying to tell me? What is it that I need to see differently? And you get the lesson, and then you don't have to go through it again. I typically know most of everything that's going to happen for other people and out in the world. A lot of times I have blinders for myself. And I will often say that. I will like verbally say this, that I know this, that they purposefully keep information from me, and they do for you as well, because we would try to intervene, or we would try to sabotage it, or we would resist harder. We'd be, I'm not ready, I'm afraid, whatever it is that we go through. And they know that. They're always giving us nudges and workarounds. It's always perfection in the way that they do it. And that's the part we have to trust. You'll just take a nice deep breath in, maybe close your eyes for a moment, exhale out. Mentally, if you would like to connect with your angels and guides, and just give them mental permission to connect with me and my angels and my guides. We are going to see collectively where we are all moving this week and what the energies of the week are going to look like for the planet. In your mind, if you can just ask spirit, angels, to apply this message most specifically to you, that you're able to hear something in it for you that is beneficial and useful and connects with your heart. Our first card is, see if you can see that. This is Archangel Bhokpi. So Diana Cooper, if you don't know who she is, she's a lovely, lovely British lady. She has amazing card decks and she's wonderful to listen to. But she works with a lot of extended versions. She works out in a lot of other dimensions. And so a lot of her cards are connected to dragons, to archangels that seem unfamiliar, to kind of the old way of teaching. And so she'll have some information that's a little different. This particular archangel is actually connected a lot to the elementals and to those who feel very strongly connected with elemental energy and with animals and with nature. The message from Archangel Bhokpi is really about, it's everything that we're already talking about today. It's about people coming into this energy of real life, those who are spiritually awake and aware, not the energy for the planet and the energy that the archangels stream to us is the same for everybody on the planet. But whether or not people wake up to that and take that in is a free will and personal choice. And it's also what theme they're living and where they're at their divine life path. But it's just like planetary energy or astrological energy, moon energy, eclipse energy. If you are open to partaking and learning of this, if it's a teacher for you, you will receive a benefit from it. Okay, so that's how Archangel energy works as well. And they stream different energy based on different things that are going on in the collective consciousness and where things need to shift and move. Because, of course, they're always trying to help us evolve and grow. And so, this very specifically is about, this is a week where you have the ability to connect in with your own intuition, your own psychic abilities, your own soul gifts and abilities, and really make a decision about where you would like to go with it all. How would you like to use it to benefit yourself and others? Is it personal? Is it professional? Is it intertwined in all the other things that you're doing? I see a lot of artistic work and creative work that they're telling me is going unexpressed. So people who like to move their bodies, who are maybe instrumental or actually doing visual art. How do you allow that to come back up? How do you get involved in that? How do you raise the frequency of yourself, your family, and the planet through living in these soul gifts? Not everybody has those talents. We all have our talents to express in this lifetime. And this is really about, it's time. It's time to express it. It's time to fly. It's time to get out in the world and just show the world who you are. And the way that you can do that is actually, what this card means is through connecting with the elementals, the elemental energy, and nature. Put yourself out in a little bit of green space. Maybe sit and meditate, take a notebook, connect, ask the elementals for help. Elementals are very connected to collective consciousness of planet Earth and nature. And when we go out in nature and we do things, clean up trash, plant some flowers, a tree, herbs, whatever it might be that could help be beneficial or helpful, that actually opens up pathways to communicate with the elementals who are a little bit skeptical of humans, but are always willing to help humans who are true and pure of heart and want to truly leave the planet in a better place. Think about how that relates to you. What gifts or talents, what truths is it time to allow other people to see? Is it time to put out in the world I'm thinking it's interesting. The next one is Archangel Michael. Stand in your power and be your true self. So again, a lot of these energies, especially with Archangel Michael, so this tells me there are people here that have a life purpose in using their intuition, their healing, their teaching, their psychic abilities that they actually need to go out into the world and help with. Now, again, here's something I want to premise for people. You don't have to work in that field to use those abilities to help other people. Being intuitive, entrepreneurs are super intuitive. People who work in creative arts, teachers, counselors, anybody can be intuitive. When we're in that zone and we're really connecting, and it's like, I have this idea or this inspiration that can help people in some way, or you just have these little hits that help make the world a better place. It can also be that. So, what they're telling me, what Archangel Michael is specifically telling me, is that he wants you to get away from the idea of if you're like, I don't really work in that field, that's okay. You still can be tapping into your intuition and your gifts of creativity and psychic abilities to help other people. And it's time to do that. And if you are afraid of doing that, this would be the time to call Archangel Michael in to help you with that. He's showing me there's a lot with children and with the inner child this week of just helping reconnect people back to that and about back to that kind of purpose that we felt as children to just laugh and play and have fun and be who we really were. And it wasn't until we got outside feedback or criticism that we started to shrink or become small. He's telling you, if you would like the opportunity, that he would like to help you reopen up and move some of this energy. And I feel like it's really moving in people's solar plexus. There's a lot of energy moving and shifting with the solar plexus. So if you would like, you can ask Archangel Michael to come in and help you clear away any darkness, any debris, shift the solar plexus, open up the front of it and the back of it, and let that energy flow through from the universe, which signifies letting go of old beliefs. Some of the ego is necessary to some degree, but these old, outdated ego programs we have, they can be let go of gently, lovingly, turn them over to your angels, your higher self. That's what Archangel Michael is really helping with this week. So keep in mind of that. And I love this card because it has a sword of light, which really tells you that these archangels are extremely powerful. And if you give them the permission, they come in and they can cut away anything in your life that's no longer working. That is the prayer that they would really like you to have for yourself is, Archangel Michael, please help me let go of and release anything that is no longer serving my highest purpose. Help me have courage and faith and trust that it's all going to be all right and that I can make these changes safely. All right, and then I get that we have two more cards. So let's see what those are. Okay. I was going to say one felt more of a feminine energy. It's Archangel Faith. Very beautiful. Archangel Faith, just talking about belief in yourself, really. Archangel Faith is about having that faith in yourself, having faith in divine timing, the universe, other people, trusting that what your soul wanted to come here to learn is what you are learning, that everything is divinely working out for you in the exact specific way that it's supposed to in this lifetime. And when you can turn over to trust and faith and just say, I don't know how. That's not our human mind's job. Our human mind's job is to receive the information from our higher self. Our higher self is really leading the way. And if we can just say, I don't know how, but I know it'll have to happen, I know it's going to be all right, then it will be, and it will come very quickly. And we have to have faith and remember we're on a little bit of a time lag on planet Earth. Not always. Some things can happen very quickly. They don't always have to have a time lag, but they often do because we have to prepare ourselves to be ready for what it is that we are going to receive. Last card, love this, Archangel Zariel, the wolf. Wolf is actually the animal totem for the archangels. Very, very beautiful, very pretty. And again, it's about giving and receiving love, which we were talking about that earlier as well. So it's like you are benefiting from giving love. That's why if any of you are parents and you've had young children and it just feels so amazing to have a baby and yes, it's hard. It's very hard work, but it's like you just get this like pure joy and love back. Or animals, it's the same thing. It's all about this receptivity of giving and receiving and giving and receiving in pure form, without expectation, without attachment. It's like the biggest thing for us to learn. I feel like sometimes as humans, I see it all the time in my practice, that the ability to give unconditional love is all about us. It's about our evolution and development on a soul level. Oftentimes, love and relationships come with expectations and judgments and these ideas. And because many of us had less than perfect circumstances growing up, or we had heartbreaks at young ages, or other things that happen, difficulties maybe in school and friendships, whatever it might be, we all do it in different ways. Human life, relationships are the biggest factor. Nothing would we be experiencing on here if we didn't have relationships. That's the whole point. Oftentimes we start to close ourselves off because we've been hurt. And so relationships are the best way, being open, being vulnerable, loving, being committed, being and having to do life together is the greatest way for us to really evolve into non-attachment and love, which means I can love you just exactly for who you are and how you're living your life and whatever that means. And I can love myself the same. That's the goal. Easier said than done, but that's the energy of this week. So you will be, if you so choose, tested a little bit, maybe in some of your relationships, tested to be a truer version of yourself, more authentic version of yourself. I would say lean into your relationships this week that do feel safe, that do feel loving, that do feel like they take you to a different plane of consciousness or energy, and just make a conscious effort to spend more time with the people you love and you value and that you feel like they value you this week. And it will help transition through what we will be going through on the planet this week. How can we talk to our animals that pass? Recently lost my dog at the age of 7. She was diagnosed with lymphoma. 55 days later was gone. I'm having such a hard time comprehending what happened, why it happened, and where she is now, and how we find our next dog and when is the right time. Do we talk to them the same as we do our passed on loved ones? Thank you for sharing that. Yes, so many good questions. So our animals immediately go into spirit world. They are, I'm not going to say they're always around you. Sometimes they choose to be always around you. Sometimes they don't. Animals have lives on the other side. Animals have a direct correlation with our energy. So they're almost like a projection of what we need. Not they are a projection of what we need. So the animal comes in for the time that we need them to give an energy to our life of what we need. And a lot of times animals will absorb our energy as humans, and they do that for a few reasons. Sometimes they do it to offset our stress. So they absorb the energy frequencies so that we don't have to. Sometimes they mirror the energy stress so that it reflects back to us and we learn something from it. And sometimes they just come in with an energy that we need for that period of time to realize something within ourselves or our family. When an animal's time is done, so when whatever it was that you needed from that animal, because animals never need anything from us. They have pure spirit. They don't have the same type of consciousness as we have as humans. They don't have lessons to learn. They are literally pure consciousness. So we put some human energy and traits on them, which can cause them to kind of develop some similar traits and like diseases and things like that as we do now. But literally, when an animal comes into our life, they're coming into it for the relationship with us, and they never leave a second early. So hopefully you can find comfort in that. You can talk to them. A lot of times they're around at a very, especially when they first cross over. And a lot of times your animal that leaves will actually guide you or send another animal to you. I am a big believer that if you're in your intuition, your guidance, you feel the right time for the right animal. I'm a really big believer. I know that that's how all my animals have come to me. It's just sometimes been a moment where I'm like, time to look for a dog or time to go to the cat shelter. This just like you find the perfect animal, right? And there's times I think like, oh, maybe I'll get another. I'm like, nah. So it's just, I would ask your angels and guides to help guide you to the right time. You will know when it is the right time. I feel like your dog. Can you tell me if she lab?
Yes, she was lab husky boxer mix.
Okay, yeah, that's why I
She
see all the colors.
she looked like a lab. She looked
Yeah.
like a lab with blue eyes and the
Okay.
husky cowl and a boxer chest.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like,
She
I
was
told you. Sometimes they just like pop in. I'm like, I just get this lab. I'm like, wait, was she a lab?
so unique.
Yeah, she seems like she was a really beautiful dog.
Oh, she was.
I love huskies. Yeah, I mean, she definitely is around. I mean, she definitely is still around you. Whose feet did she lay on?
Mine.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's definitely around. I feel like she's still laying. Did you have like a favorite pair of slippers or something that you would have that would be on your feet?
I mean, I wore slippers from time to time, but she laid on my feet like all the time.
But like in the winter, would you wear
Oh yeah, there were
like
like
I feel like she was annoyed when you would have like slipper
they were like
like
fuzzy slipper almost type socks.
yeah, I feel like she was annoyed when you would have them on your feet because she liked to be like in contact with your feet.
Yeah, my daughter, she would wear Crocs and she would try to pick off the little like trinkets on it because
Yeah.
she loved being so close to us.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, she's telling me, she's showing me that she was like super annoyed when you would have something on your feet because she liked the skin contact.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, they're telling me and she's showing me that she actually, I don't know if this will make sense to you, but she helped ground your earth chakra. So your earth chakra is underneath your feet. And so she was like a grounding element for your family. Did you get her like when was there instability or changes in things that were
Yes,
going on?
big time.
Yeah. So it was
We
like
had just moved. We had lost the house we were supposed to get.
yeah,
We ended up having to buy it quick, and there was just a lot of changing and movement in our family dynamic.
yeah. Yeah, she's showing me that like this, like there was yeah, I was gonna say house. She's just showing me that there was like all this instability and changing, and she literally came in to ground to keep your earth chakra, to keep your family grounded. That was the safety or protection of spirit to keep you grounded because she was something that really helped focus into that safe kind of protective energy that she gave to you. And
Yeah.
I'm guessing that stability is better now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But
Yeah.
now it's like I can't even go on walks outside without her. Just not having her. It's so hard.
Yeah, it is so hard when we lose them. She's still there. Did she walk on your was she usually on your right side?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, she shows me she's still going on walks with you, by the way. She's like still going with you. So I mean she just shows me like literally right by your right side. So she hasn't really gone anywhere. I feel like I feel like if you could just get really, I mean, right now you're in grief, so it'll be harder. But when the grief subsides a little bit, if you're just really kind of still with yourself and you do some of the same things that you used to do with her, like she still shows me plopping on your feet. So I think you can actually feel her presence and feel her with you. She just tells me that she was like no longer needed. And the interesting thing about lymphoma is lymphoma has a lot to do with disharmony and conflict. And so this is one of those cases where I said an animal comes in to absorb that energy from your family so that your family doesn't become ill. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. She was the shortest dog we've ever had. We rescued her and we only had her 4 years.
Yeah.
So it was just it's just very difficult without her because she we did not see the lymphoma diagnosis coming at all.
Yeah.
She was given 1 to 3 months. We worked with an oncologist in Madison. She was given 1 to 3 years because we were told she had the least aggressive kind. And then all of a sudden she was gone. We knew when it was time. She collapsed and that was it.
Yeah, I mean her soul agreement was just over. And I know that's hard when we have an animal. It'll make more sense later on. I feel like as time goes by a little bit, but I feel like you helped her and she helped you and it was just the way that I explain it to people, believe it or not, houses and cars actually will be like this too, where a lot of times things that come into our house, they carry, or our house, our life, they carry a certain energy for us. And when that energy is no longer relevant, they have to leave because unlike people who can choose to change, although if you guys really think about it, most people don't really change that significantly. We have our core theme or our core energy. Animals come in kind of carrying a core energy. And so her contract, her agreement with your family was up. Doesn't mean she's still not there in spirit, but she did what her mission was to do. Does that make sense?
It does. I really appreciate this. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But you can talk to her. She liked to sleep in bed with somebody. Who was that?
Definitely me.
You. Yeah. She
We
just
used to
keeps
take
showing me
naps.
all these
Oh
things
yeah.
like, yeah.
She was my girl, like 100%. She
Yeah.
loved everybody in the family, but she and I were very close.
She was yours. Yeah. I
Yep.
mean, the wonderful thing about it is that what it does signify positive spiritually is that you are in a better place, right? You have healed and been able to get into a better place. And because of that, she's no longer needed to fill that same role. And so, but she's still there. She's still with you. And so just know that. I think you'll feel her and sense her. Jump in your bed, lay on your feet, brush up on your hand when you're going for a walk. I think you'll start feeling her do that more as she loved the fall. She shows me she loves like the
Yes,
fall
she
time.
did. She
Yeah.
absolutely loved fall.
Yeah. So I feel like she'll be hanging around at least through the fall and even in the winter. Do you guys have a fireplace in your house?
We do.
Yeah. Yeah. So she shows me that, she like shows me she really liked Christmas. I feel like she got a little bit
Yep.
spoiled.
Yes.
Yeah. So
She's
she's
not.
showing me she's still there for all of that.
That's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. So she'll be there and she'll be there for all of that. And then I do feel like you have a new animal coming in.
I
Maybe
hope
like early
so.
spring. Yeah, I think it'll be like early spring. And I do you have some kind of like already like affinity for a shepherd, like a German shepherd or shepherd?
Yes, so my husband actually wants us to wait till after the first of the year, which I'm struggling.
Yeah,
Because I love animals so much. But we've been looking like at Anatolian shepherds and German shepherds and
yeah.
for sure.
Well, it'll definitely be what you get. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it'll be a shepherd. I immediately got that. And it's funny because I first saw a German shepherd and then I saw like other types of shepherds. I love the Asian shepherd breeds, like Central Asian shepherds. So I love shepherds too. But I saw like a German and then I saw other shepherds. So that's funny. And it's like early spring. I do feel like you'll have at least one coming in. You might actually end up with two dogs.
Awesome.
You might actually get a puppy and then a rescue.
Okay, good to know. My
Yeah, I
husband's
mean
shaking his head.
not like
I'm
exactly
excited.
at the same time, but you definitely will.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.